Wife left me BC, I lost my job and took away my kid. But now her replacement husband lost his job too. The day I lost my job, the sky didn't just fall, it shattered, and the shards cut deeper than I could have imagined. By nightfall, my wife, Claire, was gone. Our daughter Lily's tiny hand in hers, leaving me with nothing but an empty apartment and a severance letter. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a guillotine, swift and merciless. I'd been a warehouse manager for a decade, the kind of guy who showed up early, stayed late, and knew every worker by name. The company downsized, and I was the collateral damage. Claire didn't even wait a week. "You're not the man I married," she said, her voice ice cold, as if 10 years of love could be erased by a pink slip. She packed Lily's favorite teddy bear, her sippy cup, and my heart, and left for her new life with Greg, a slick car salesman with a grin that screamed, "Trust me," but meant watch your back. Lily, only 5, looked back at me through the car window, her eyes wide with confusion. I waved, forcing a smile, but inside I was screaming. The months that followed were a blur of cheap coffee, job applications, and silence. The apartment felt like a tomb, every corner haunted by Lily's giggles or Claire's perfume. I'd lie awake, replaying the moment Claire called me a failure, her words like acid eating through my pride. I wasn't just unemployed, I was invisible. Friends stopped calling, bills piled up. The worst part, Claire wouldn't let me see Lily. "You're not stable," she'd say over the phone. Her tone clipped, like I was a stranger. Greg, apparently, was the picture of stability, with his leased BMW and his 5-year plan. I took whatever work I could, night shifts at a gas station, odd jobs moving furniture. Every dollar went to a lawyer who promised to fight for partial custody. But hope was a thin thread, and it was fraying fast. I'd drive by Claire's new house sometimes, just to catch a glimpse of Lily playing in the yard. Once, she saw me, waved, and my heart leapt until Greg stepped outside, ushering her in like I was some kind of threat. That night, I punched a hole in my wall, the pain in my knuckles a welcome distraction from the one in my chest. Then, 6 months later, the universe decided to play a cruel joke. I was sweeping the gas station floor when my phone buzzed with a text from an old coworker. "Mike, heard Greg got canned. Dealership went bust. Karma's a bitch." I froze, mop in hand, as a strange mix of vindication and dread washed over me. Greg, the golden boy, the better man, was now just like me, jobless, humbled, human. I should have felt triumphant, but all I could think about was Lily. Was she okay? Was Claire panicking the way she did when I lost my job? Would she leave Greg, too, like she left me? I didn't call her. I didn't gloat. Instead, I kept working, kept fighting for Lily. The lawyer said I had a shot. Now courts don't look kindly on instability, and Claire's perfect new life was crumbling. But the more I thought about it, the less I wanted revenge. I didn't want Claire to suffer. I wanted my daughter back. I wanted to be the father she deserved, not the broken man Claire had painted me as. One rainy afternoon, I saw Claire at the grocery store. She looked tired, her cart half empty, no wedding ring on her finger. Greg, I later learned, had spiraled drinking, gambling, the works. She didn't see me at first, but when she did, her eyes widened, then softened. "Tom," she said, almost a whisper. I didn't know it would be like this. I wanted to scream, to ask how she could rip my family apart and expect me to care about her regrets. But I didn't. I just nodded and said, "How's Lily?" She told me Lily missed me, that she asked about me every night, that Greg wasn't the man she thought he was. For the first time in months, Claire looked at me like I was human again, not a failure. I could have gloated, could have thrown her abandonment in her face. Instead, I asked if I could see Lily. She hesitated, then nodded. "Tomorrow," she said. "Come by tomorrow." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing Lily's face, her gap-toothed smile, the way she'd hug me like I was her whole world. I also thought about Claire, about how quickly she'd judged me, how she'd assumed Greg was the answer. Part of me wanted to hate her, but another part, a quieter, softer part, felt sorry for her. She'd bet on the wrong horse, and now she was as lost as I'd been. The next day, I showed up at Claire's house, my heart pounding. Lily ran out before I could knock, throwing herself into my arms. "Daddy," she squealed, and for a moment, the world was right again. Claire stood in the doorway, watching us, her face a mix of guilt and relief. Greg was nowhere to be seen. We didn't talk about him or about us. We just played with Lily in the yard, her laughter filling the holes in my heart. Over the next few weeks, I saw Lily more. Claire and I worked out a schedule. No lawyers needed. It wasn't perfect, she was still guarded, and I was still healing, but it was something. I found a better job, managing a small warehouse again, and slowly, I started to rebuild. Not just my life, but my sense of self. I wasn't a failure. I was a father, and that was enough. One evening, as I tucked Lily into bed at Claire's house, she asked, "Why did Mommy leave you?" "Daddy." I froze, searching for words that wouldn't hurt her. "Sometimes," I said, "people make choices because they're scared, but that doesn't mean they stop loving you." She nodded, clutching her teddy bear, and I kissed her forehead, hoping she'd never feel the weight of those choices. Claire and I never got back together. Too much had broken between us, but we found a way to co-parent, to put Lily first. Greg faded from the picture, his own demons pulling him under. I didn't wish him ill, I'd been where he was, and it was hell enough. Life had humbled us all, in different ways. It taught me that love isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, even when the world tells you you're not enough. Looking back, I see the irony. Claire left me because I fell, but her new life fell harder. Yet, in the wreckage, we found something better, not a perfect family, but a real one. Lily's smile was my redemption, and Claire's regret was her own lesson. Life doesn't keep score, but it does demand you keep going. What do you think? Was Claire wrong to leave? Or was she just human, chasing stability in a chaotic world? Share your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. End.